Nope. Anyway, Sarah might. She's pregnant, but yeah, well, she's pregnant, so that's okay. Are we on? All right. Okay, guys. So now that Sam's got that out of it herself, we can talk about this. So for those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Riker. I used to coach here before it was CrossFit Empyrean. Good friends of Dave, the Blacks, Josh Mish. Well, actually, a lot of people here, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, I'm a CrossFit L1, ACE personal trainer, and I have a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology. So this stuff is kind of my life. I really like to talk about the science behind exercise, and so today we're going to kind of talk about the science behind why we're going to be pacing workouts, the science behind the strategy for workouts, to kind of give you a little bit of conceptualization as to why we want to strategize, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the actual application and how to strategize and how to make things a little more efficient as we go along for workouts. So, to start things off, I want to talk a bit about the body's energy systems, okay? So the body runs on three primary energy systems, okay? We got the creatine phosphate system, which is really fast, okay? We have glycolysis, which is like medium range, and we have our aerobic systems, which are really long, okay? Theoretically, aerobic systems can last forever, okay? Creatine phosphate, these are gonna be like the sprint kind of workouts. So if you're doing, three rep max with your clean and jerk, okay? I don't know, something like that, or you're doing all out sprint on the bike for 30 seconds, okay? These kind of things, that's creatine phosphate. We're just explosive, we're quick. Glycolysis is gonna be majority of our mid-range workouts, okay? So today's workout, we had a few of us here for today's workout. That's a lot more like glycolysis, okay? We're taking a while, moving around. There's nothing that's absolutely all-out sprint, okay? Aerobic is going to be things like Murph, right? It's going to take a long time. It's going to grind through it. All of these energy systems, though, we'll use at some point during workouts, okay? It's not like each one is, just exclusive for exercising. We'll use all of them at some point, but exercising will predominantly be one or the other most of the time. Now, that being said, creatine phosphate and glycolysis can both be anaerobic, meaning they don't need oxygen to operate. Aerobic means oxygen, so we need oxygen. However, that being said, all of these, at some point, will need oxygen to replenish themselves, okay? So when we're done with the creatine system, when we exasperate our creatine stores, in order to replenish those stores, we'll need oxygen. When we go through glycolysis, we'll need oxygen. Obviously, for aerobic energy systems, we need oxygen. So all these things run on oxygen, which means we're breathing hard, okay? Anybody notice you breathe hard during CrossFit workouts? It's weird. Yeah. Okay. So that being said, I want to kind of move on, talk about oxygen debt. Anyone ever heard of oxygen debt before? A few of us. Okay. These two things here are really cool to talk about when it comes to understanding why we want to pace a workout or strategize a workout. Okay. Let's take a bike sprint, for example. Okay, we're going to use a bike sprint for both of these since it's a really easy thing to conceptualize. Most of you guys have done a sprint on the bike before. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay. When we go for a workout, okay, we have our resting oxygen consumption. Okay, right now you're breathing, you're just hanging out. That's what we're consuming. Once we start to work out, we have this requirement increase. Okay, hop on the bike, you start pushing. We're using different energy systems that need oxygen at some point or another, and that oxygen requirement jumps up. Now, our body doesn't right away match that oxygen requirement with what we're actually consuming. So slowly, our actual oxygen consumption will increase. So you're on a bike, you're doing a sprint, all of a sudden, at first, you're like, okay, it's not too bad. 5-10 seconds in, we start breathing harder, okay? So that actual oxygen consumption increases to match the demand that we're placing on our body. Now, at some point, we'll end the workout, okay? But the requirement hasn't been met completely, because in order to replenish everything, we still have to have increased oxygen consumption. So we call this area here oxygen debt. Okay, that's an easy way to remember that one. And that's why you get done with the bike. It's not like you get done with the bike and just, all right, that was good. You get off the bike and you're huffing and puffing. You're trying to replenish those energy systems because you've created a form of debt. We following? Okay. Now, what happens if we have a bike sprint followed by burpees? You die. Okay? So right after the bike, we're going to have some oxygen debt. And so we're going to be huffing and puffing. We're trying to replenish energy systems so that we have energy to perform our next task, right? So at some point, we have to replenish enough oxygen to have enough energy to move along. Okay, so that's where a lot of that strategizing comes in. We don't want to have too much oxygen debt where we're sitting there waiting for 30 seconds before we start the next task. Okay, we want to be able to have just enough, we can kind of move on and keep moving. Okay, similar thing is the lactate threshold. Okay, Sam was kind enough to mention this a minute ago. It's not what she thinks it is. Okay, when we work out and we exercise, okay, we develop a lot of byproducts. Okay, our body, when we go through these energy systems here, our body has byproducts as, well, what I'm saying, like, was that? Yeah, thank you. As things we don't really use, but they sit around in our bloodstream, sit around in our muscles, and they can make us feel a little more fatigued, okay? So as we work out, that stuff, those byproducts, the lactate, okay, it's easy way to remember that, it builds up. Once we hit this little threshold, though, that buildup jumps a little bit because our body is producing more byproduct than it can get rid of, okay? And so we reach this point where it's producing too much, too fast. We can't get rid of it fast enough, and we get really tired, okay? So again, these kind of things are correlated here. So whenever we work out, we often want to stop ourselves kind of right here before we have this spike. We're going to be tired and have to rest in order to replenish our energy systems, to clear all these byproducts out of our muscles so we have energy to do the next task, okay? So, you guys ever seen this word before? Metcon? I'm pretty sure it's Arabic. Yeah. Do you guys know what Metcon stands for? Metabolic conditioning. Okay? So, most times in CrossFit, we'll have a Metcon, okay? What are some Metcons? What's that? What are some forms of metabolic conditioning we do in CrossFit? Everything. Okay? Murph, yeah. Okay, which energy system is Murph going to be predominantly working on? Aerobic. Okay? Fran? Okay? Do you guys know what who here knows what the Fran workout is? Okay, Dave, what's Fran? Okay, 2159 pull-ups and thrusters, okay? Which energy is it going to be a predominantly aerobic workout? No? Why not? It's really fast. Okay, so when we do a Metcon, metabolic conditioning, we're trying to train specific energy systems. There's a goal in mind. It's not just do the work because it makes you bigger, faster, stronger. There's a goal in mind. What's that? Bigger, faster, stronger book? Yeah, it is a book. Okay, so there's a goal in mind with Metcons, you guys. So with Fran, we're going to be doing a lot of like the phosphate energy systems and some of the faster side of glycolysis, okay? We're not really going to be hitting a ton of the aerobic, slower energy system in a workout like Fran. In Murph, on the other hand, we're not going to be really targeting a ton of the creatine phosphate system. We'll be hitting more of the aerobic side, okay? That's the goal. Yes? Murph? Murph is 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, another mile run. It's about an hour long, yeah. But no, yeah, so it's an hour long versus Fran, which, I mean, depending how fast you are, takes you anywhere from, 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Josh is, what's your Fran time? 2:20? Yeah, see, so it's a much more of a sprint. Okay, so what happens when we get a workout, though, that maybe is Fran, for example, and we can't do pull-ups? And we try to do pull-ups anyways. So we're supposed to be doing it in 2 to 5 minutes because we want to target, the faster side of the energy systems. But instead, we're trying to do pull-ups. What happens if we can't do a pull-up and we try to do the RX thing? Michelle, you had a thought?
Well, I was just going to say, if you spend way too much time sitting there trying to get something that you don't normally do in a fast amount of time, so you don't get intended stimulus.
Yeah. So Michelle, so for those of you guys who can't hear Michelle, she was saying, if you spend too much time on something that you can't do efficiently, you take too much time, you're not hitting the stimulus anymore. So the stimulus for Fran would be more up here. All of a sudden, you can't do pull-ups efficiently. Rather than a 2 to 5 minute workout, you do it in 10 to 12, and now you're hitting a little more slow glycolysis, slow glycolysis or aerobic workout. So we've changed the kind of Metcon it is when it's supposed to be fast. We've kind of made it slower. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Everyone tracking so far? Any questions or thoughts? Michelle says that's why we have people scale. Okay? So it's exactly right. So that's what I'm going to get into next. Okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me see here. So let's talk a bit about stimulus. Okay? Actually, no. Let's go. Let's talk about some workouts really quick. Okay? So here's a few different workout styles we do in CrossFit: AMRAPs, EMOMs, Tabatas. We have task-oriented. Okay. I'm missing any major ones? No? An AMWAP? As much weight as possible. I like that. AMWAP, as much weight as possible. Okay, so we have a few of these right here, guys, right? These are like some of the main things we'll do in CrossFit, right? AMRAPs, EMOMs, Tabatas, task-oriented stuff where it's just, hey, get this done in X amount of time or get it done 4 times, right? Do you think all of these are also going to be strategized the exact same every time? Okay. What would today's workout was task-oriented, okay? How did some of you guys break up the workout today that were here? You two, you were partners, right?
Yes.
How'd you break it up?
We did 10 kettlebells each while the other rested.
10 kettlebells each while the other rested.
Yeah, we went back and forth.
Okay.
And then we broke up the calories. He did 10, I did 8, until we got to 72.
4 rounds each.
And then with the handstand push-ups, we started doing 5 each. And then we did 10 each to speed things up. And then for the carries, we just went down and back and switched.
Okay. Do you guys feel like that was, you always felt like you keep moving?
I mean,
Right.
while the other person is working, so not always moving.
Right. But I mean, like, when it was your turn.
But when it was your turn, yeah.
Good. Okay.
No problem.
So for task-oriented stuff, especially when you have like a team workout, it's a really great opportunity to strategize, to plan, because you get a built-in rest when you have a partner a lot of the time. Okay? What about an EMOM? What kind of strategizing might you do for a 5-calorie bike for 10-minute EMOM? Everyone knows what an EMOM is, right? Every minute on the minute. So if every minute on the minute you're doing 5 calories on the bike, and it's an EMOM, what maybe is the purpose of that workout?
Get it done quick. So you have more rest.
Get it done fast. So which energy system? Okay. So if we're on the bike and we're just doing this, we're probably not hitting the stimulus, okay, for that EMOM. So these are things to keep in mind, you guys. We want to be able to make sure that we have the stimulus in mind. The coaches almost always will understand what the stimulus is. In the coach's notes, it's going to talk to them and say, hey, this is where people should be. This is what they should be doing, okay? And the coaches also understand this stuff pretty well. So they understand where you should be at as far as rest times, where you should be at as far as pushing yourself. So if you ever have questions about how fast I should be going, like what's the stimulus supposed to be, talk to your coach, you guys. Make sure that you understand as well what we're doing, because like Michelle said, if we're needing to scale and we're not scaling and we're hitting a completely different stimulus than everybody else, kind of defeats the purpose of the workout for that day. Not saying you're not getting a workout in, but it's not what the intent was. Follow? Cool. Let's get in a little bit more to hitting stimulus, some actual strategy. Now that we have like a good foundation here to kind of go from. I need 2 volunteers. Yeah! Give Josh and Michelle a hand.
Almost seemed like a volunteer.
Okay.
It's like, who wants to volunteer? I'm like,
Any thoughts? Okay. So we're gonna have Josh and Michelle do some air squats. Okay.
where are we both?
That is an air squat. Yes, very good. Okay. Michelle here is gonna go nice and steady like this, and Josh is gonna go as fast as he can. Okay. You guys are going to do this for, I don't know, let's go 30 seconds. Ready, go. Michelle's still going. Fast as you can, Josh. Anyone counting for Josh? Yeah, it's too late. All right. That's 10 seconds. 20 more seconds, Josh. Yeah, 30 seconds is a bit long for Josh. Okay, that's 22 seconds. 25. And break. Michelle, how much longer do you think you could go just that pace?
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah?
Keep going more.
Josh, how much longer could you go? You want to die? Okay, how many did you get through? If you had to estimate.
34.
34-ish?
I can't count that high.
How many did he get?
Counted him at 33.
33?
I did 34.
You were probably like around what, mid-20s?
Yeah, just kidding.
Okay. So Michelle
I didn't do that many.
Michelle was probably like low 20s, mid 20s. Josh hit 34. Okay, that was 30 seconds. In order for Michelle to get, I don't know, what the extra 10 reps, it would have taken you another 10, 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay? But how do you feel right now?
Good.
Josh?
Not great.
Not as good.
Not doing it.
Okay? We can see right now, it wouldn't have taken Michelle a ton longer to finish the same amount of reps that Josh had, but when she's done now, she can move on to burpees. No. Anyway, you don't have to do burpees. But she can move on to burpees a lot easier than Josh could, because Josh is now really fatigued, okay? So when we think about strategizing a workout, we don't only need to think about how fast we can do it, we got to think about how are we going to feel after that's done? Because there's more stuff after, yeah? Sprint! Okay. Any thoughts from our volunteers on what happened?
Another thing about it is Michelle's air squats, you probably noticed, like, they all looked the same, and they were all really good. Like, all her movements were top to bottom every time. My heels were coming off the ground because I was just trying to go faster, because I'm like, oh, I got to as many as I can. So I was, like, getting really low, but then like, coming off the ground, and I was just a little out of control. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. If you don't have a plan, or if you don't, if you're just trying to go all out, your form can go. It's easier for your form to go out the window. Speed doesn't compromise control. Yeah, speed compromises control. Tracy said, "How come his don't look like her?"
I'm just better than this.
She's more athletic than me, for sure.
Do you have a wall ball?
Yeah.
So that brings up a great point, and I want to talk about this one next. Okay, so when it comes to hitting the stimulus, and we're trying to maintain pace, we're trying to do whatever, okay, when we're trying to work these energy systems, there's a bunch of different factors that come into play, yeah? One of them that Josh and Michelle just mentioned is movement efficiency, okay? So come here, you guys. So Michelle here is going to demonstrate a really good wall ball position, okay? Arms are supporting the ball, okay? She's down underneath, go to the squat. Okay, when she pushes up, boom, up. And when she receives the ball, she's dropping right back down into it, the exact same position. Josh, show us a very bicep-oriented one. Okay. Okay, and relax. Okay, do you guys notice a difference between Michelle's and Josh's wall balls? Which one do you think is going to take more energy? Josh's. Is that going to affect the stimulus for the workout, you think? Right? So when we do our workouts with our coaches, when the coaches are saying, hey, look, I really need you to scale so that your form is good, it's not just because they want you to have good form for the sake of having good form or for the sake of even not injuring yourself, which is also important. Don't injure yourself. But also it's going to help you achieve a better stimulus for the workout, okay? Because if Josh is doing that bicep thingy every single rep, like his posterior chain is going to hurt, his biceps are going to be burning, he's going to be breathing significantly harder than Michelle is, where she could cycle through those wall balls a lot easier, yeah? Any thoughts or questions with that? Okay. What about things like even like burpees? Do you guys notice that there's more efficient ways to do burpees versus when you're tired and things get sucky? Right? Josh, show us a really good burpee. Oh, a trick question. That still sucked. Okay? So Josh is being quick and snappy, right? Really energetic. Oh, Josh, please step over here. Sorry, folks. Keep doing burpees. Okay? So even going fast, though, he's being very efficient with the burpees, okay? Let's say he just did 100 burpees and he's really tired. What are the burpees going to look like now? Okay? He's tired, but he's still moving efficiently for where he's at. Show us a very inefficient burpee. Okay? He's actually going to squat too. Okay, you see how he's like moving his back a lot. He's sitting down into it, okay? He's using so much more musculature and so much more movement that is necessary. That wasn't even a burpee. Okay? So even when we're tired, there's ways that we can perform the movements efficiently and strategically to hit stimulus and still do things the way we're supposed to do them. Right? Cool. Awesome. Any questions with that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we're still trying to hit that explosive stimulus today, okay? It was a little different. It was also a little bit for logistics today. That's where like a lot of if there's an individual workout next to a team workout and we do the team workout instead of the individual workout, also like logistically it just makes it more feasible. But they do their best they do their best to hit the same stimulus for the team workout as the individual workout would have been. So yeah.
Well, it was 2 sets of 2 rounds. So we have 20,
Yeah.
It looked nicer, but it ended up being about the same.
And it was within 10 reps anyways. But
Yeah.
another part of it is like with that specifically, if I may, like
Go ahead.
the work to rest ratio was going to be different. We were going to do a lot more resting when a partner and I were working. So like when Riker and I were doing it, I was only doing 15 reps at a time. And then I got that same amount of rest while Riker was working. So if we were only doing the lighter rep scheme, like we get more rest and do less reps. So we're just making it an easier workout that way. So to keep a similar stimulus, they raise the reps by a smaller amount to even that out a little bit.
Yeah. Good call. What's that?
Work to rest is supposed to be about the same
Yeah.
today. Oh, it's stimulus. I don't know.
Actually, I'll listen to this one today. Sub 20. Yeah. Okay. Who here is really good at push-ups? Like, if there's push-ups in the workout, they like push-ups. What's Dave? What's your favorite movement? No?
Gaming's good.
Push-ups. Rick, what's your favorite movement?
No,
No.
that's not true.
Your favorite movement.
I got favorite movie.
Okay, what's your no, your favorite movement?
I got better today because I got skated.
Okay. Let's say you're really good at wall balls right now. Damien,
What?
let's say you suck at wall balls. Okay? Let's say the workout is wall balls and pull-ups. Damien, you suck at wall balls. Rick rocks at wall balls. Rick struggles with pull-ups. You rock at pull-ups. Let's just say that, okay? Is the workout going to look the exact same for both of you? Okay, why not? Okay, what's that?
Different muscle groups for one.
Okay,
It was the strong suit in one muscle group, and the other is the strong
right.
suit in the other muscle group.
So one person's going to be really good at one movement, struggle with the other, vice versa. When you're looking to strategize for a workout, that's a big part as well, right? You look at where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are. Okay? For me, one of my big weaknesses is overall strength. Okay? I'm a smaller guy. I can usually move a lot quicker, but overall strength is one of my weaknesses. So for a workout that's got, biking, pull-ups, push-ups, and then 315 deadlift, I might push really hard the bike, the pull-ups, the push-ups, but strategize how I'm going to be doing the deadlift. Okay, I might take a longer time. I might push harder on those other movements than normal, so I can make up time that's going to take me on the deadlift. Okay, so keep that in mind when you guys are doing your workouts. What your strengths are, play to them.
I was gonna say, I'm a very competitive person, so like if I'm working out with Josh, then if I'm in this workout, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna take a long time on his strong suit, kind of just like what you're saying. But I know he is not as good at burpees as I am. He gets gas from them, right? So then I know that I'm
Just for all you folks at home, Josh gets gassed from burpees. Just so you know.
So I know I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get upset when he's killing me on the barbell because I know as soon as he gets those burpees, it's gonna be some struggle. So it's kind of a mental thing for me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Whenever they're next to a person, you're not trying to compete with anyone, but you're like, where are they? They're already on the next movement. Well, maybe their next movement, they're gonna be slowing down. You know what I'm saying? So kind of just thinking
never that way with Josh. He just keeps going. But they're still better than their body.
Okay. But play, yeah. But honestly, like Michelle brings up a really good point though. We gotta play to our strengths. Okay. Where we need to scale, scale. If we need to adjust it, adjust it. But where you're strong, be strong. Okay. This goes a lot more into the mindset. We're gonna talk about mindset next. But if you are strong at something, be proud of that. Okay. Michelle says she's good at burpees. Be happy that you're good at burpees and push yourself on the burpees all the time. If that's what you're good at and you can crush Josh on the burpees, do it. Okay?
Change my answer. I finally figured out.
Yes, he's really good at boxing.
Okay. So when there's box jumps in a workout, crush it. Okay? There you go. Usually do. Okay? So we have strengths, we have our physical weaknesses. What about mental limitations and mental strengths? Do you guys find Good job.
So someone, I didn't read a study, but someone told me there's a study that your body, like mentally, you're like, I can't do anymore, but like physically, your body can handle a ton more.
Yep.
So I assume that it's true, but I mean, not like fight or flight though. Like we don't want to be to that point where we're literally like
Yeah.
fighting for the person. Like if rock fell on us, we have no choice but to like
Right.
stop in a workout every day. But I don't know how true.
I don't know exactly the answer to that. My thought of the matter would be this, and I'm open to anyone's input. So the question was, how true is it that your body can take way more than your mind says you can take, more or less? Okay? My thought on it is this. Depending on which energy system we are predominantly using, we can take a lot more or a lot less. If we're doing aerobic training, like on Murph, for example, physiologically, theoretically, you could go forever on aerobic training, okay? Because your body is able to produce that energy through oxygen, and you're not really having any short supply of oxygen anytime soon. Hopefully not, okay? But creatine, once those creatine stores are depleted, completely depleted, well, you're not going to be using that energy system anymore. It's just until the creatine has been restored. So my opinion is this. We probably don't really hit complete creatine depletion because it hurts. So we don't get to that point, but that's going to happen a lot faster than, say, running out of sugar for glycolysis. So if we're doing a bike sprint, it's going to hurt a lot quicker, and we might be closer to that full energy depletion than we would be in glycolysis, than we would be in aerobic energy systems. That's my opinion. That's my thought on the matter. So I think we can get close. It just depends on which energy systems we're using and how hard we're pushing.
And the whole point of what you were saying earlier, like it's called a Metcon because it's a metabolic conditioning. Like all the workouts we do are metabolic conditioning. That's how you condition these workouts. You push your limits so you can expand your limits.
Yeah.
So I'm going to push, if we have a really glycolytic workout, I'm going to push what I think is capable. And then next time I do that, I'm probably going to be better at it, right? Because I pushed my limits of what's capable, right? If I stop at the exact same place every time, I'm not going to get any further.
Which is sort of scaling.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times, sometimes we get discouraged when we scale. At least I feel this way sometimes. If we're scaling, well, I'm not going to be pushing myself. I'm not going to be learning, or I'm not going to be able to, this is how is this helping me grow?
Right.
In the long run, you can still, you're still pushing yourself.
Yeah. And I think, and the coaches always do good. The coaches here especially do a good job with this, I think, with helping you understand where and when it's appropriate to push beyond your limits, right? Because like Josh was saying, we do want to be pushing, right up to this point, right to the end of our limits on all those energy systems. But if we need to scale because we can't do the 135 clean and jerk, well, we're still hitting a good stimulus, but sometimes hey, you know what? It's okay today to not go as crazy hard. Today, we need to push and try the 135 clean and jerk, okay? Because mentally, there's a limit mentally where we get this block, right? Anybody here ever get scared of a certain weight on the barbell? Like if you're going for a PR that you haven't hit, you kind of get intimidated by that weight, right? And so it becomes more of a mental block than an actual like strength issue, doesn't it? So there's a big mental component to performance here that we need to address as well, because it's not always just about the physical aspect. Yeah. Yeah, if you're hurting here, if you're hurting if you're hurting here, well then we need to push a little further. You know, we need to be able to get past that mental block of the pain and keep moving. But also, if we keep getting here every single day because we're scaling, and this is where we're at all the time because we scale every time, well then maybe we need to go a little harder and be here. But at least now we're at a heavier weight, we're at a more advanced movement, so we're increasing. And then, as we get better at that increased movement, we can come this way again. Then we get better, and we're sitting here all the time, and then we can go back again. Increase the difficulty, increase the stimulus. And that's how we get better, right? But we need to find out where we are in that spectrum, because it is a spectrum. It changes, it evolves. As you get better, you need to introduce harder things. Talk to your coaches about that. That's why CrossFit's never easy. It always sucks. But talk to your coaches, you guys. Ask them kind of like, hey, I want to improve. This is where I'm at. Should I be scaling these things? Should I be pushing harder? If you have any questions about that, talk to them. They're great people. They're knowledgeable. They're experienced with these things. They'll help you out with it. I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. So before I get to my last thing, any questions? Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, you guys, I'm going to erase this if any of you are okay with that. I hope so. Bye. Okay. I have one more little graph I wanted to show you guys. And this is something that a buddy of ours showed me a couple of years ago. Anybody here know Spencer Bolts other than the old Teton crew? Did any of you ever know him? No? So I used to work on campus, and a buddy of mine showed us this, like one of my first times ever meeting him. We had a meeting, and he was showing this. And I really liked it, and it kind of hit home with me. So, you guys know what self-efficacy is? You guys ever heard of that? Dave, you know what self-efficacy is? You want to share a little bit about self-efficacy? Too much belief? So, yeah, no, Dave is 100% right. Self-efficacy is that ability to believe in yourself that you can accomplish what you're doing, okay? But it's much more than just like the confidence that you have to do it. It's the belief that you can do it, okay? Does that follow? Okay? So when we first start off at CrossFit, right, or like even before we started CrossFit, we're in this place where we call it like pre-contemplation, okay? We're not really in the mindset yet of CrossFit or exercising or achieving any goals. We're just living our life, not really noticing there's anything that needs to change. So our level of self-efficacy is pretty low, right? Because there's no need to change. We're just living. Well, then your buddy is like, hey, there's this really cool thing where I hate myself every day. It's called CrossFit. I go there, suffer, go home and cry, love it. You should do it too, okay? Yeah, it's so fun. So all of a sudden, you get to this point where you're like, you're contemplating it. You're contemplating, and you're like, I don't know, like, could I do this thing?
That's me every morning.
Sam's like, I don't know. But like, it's in your mind now. It's like, well, like, what is this CrossFit thing? And all of a sudden, your friend keeps badgering you about it, and your friend is, having fun. They just keep talking, and you get to this point where, yeah, there's that too. Yeah. So now you get to this point where you're like, man, I'm going to take some action. I'm going to come to the 1 week of free CrossFit at CrossFit Empyrean and try this CrossFit thing out. What's that?
It's catfish. That 3 weeks.
Catfish. So you come and you start taking action, and you're like, okay, like this is hard, but like maybe I can do this. Okay. And all through this time, like your self-efficacy, it can fluctuate, right? It's not always going to be this linear progression. It can fluctuate. But as we move along these things, we're building our self-efficacy. We're building that belief in ourselves that we can do these things that we want to do. Okay. Once we get past action, we might end up in, I don't even know if I spelled maintenance right, but that's what I'm saying it is. But we get this point in maintenance where we're like, you know what? I am doing this. Okay. I'm going to CrossFit every day. I'm working hard. Yeah, you know what? There's always going to be things I want to improve on. There's always going to be things I don't feel I'm super good at, but I'm doing it. And I know that if I work hard, I can keep doing this. I can keep getting better, okay? That's that self-efficacy. So as we move through these things, we're getting better all the time. We're improving in ourselves. And this is so much more than just about CrossFit. This is about everything, right? Like every aspect of your life, we can improve that self-efficacy. We can make a game plan and strategize these goals in our lives to achieve whatever we need to achieve. It's not just about CrossFit. I know this might sound cheesy, but I think CrossFit's a great metaphor for life, right? Like you come in every day, you bust your butt. Sometimes you do exactly what you wanted to do, maybe even a little more. Sometimes you get kicked in the teeth, okay? But having a strategy and having the self-efficacy as we get better and as we move through these sections, okay, believe in yourself and you get better and better and better. That's something that's happened for me. I mean, when I first started CrossFit, Josh got me into CrossFit at the beginning. I remember the first time I went, we had like, I think some shoulder and overhead move. It might have been thrusters. It might have been just, I don't know, jerks. I remember busting my face into the barbell because they were like, yeah, you tuck your head back and then you push forward. And I was like, okay, bam! And I smacked myself in the face with the barbell and I tried to look cool and I was like, oh yeah. Meanwhile, there's like blood rushing down my face. I'm like, oh, so I kept moving. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. I was definitely like recontemplating my decisions. I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can do this. And so like my level of self-efficacy was like, okay. But I kept with it, kept working hard, and it's definitely gone up a lot more since then. Now I believe that like if I put the work in at CrossFit, I can achieve more or less what I want to achieve. And it's helped me a lot in my personal life as well, pushing hard. It's helped me a lot understanding how to plan things, how to make goals, how to strategize, not just in CrossFit, not just in the workouts, but in life, making plans of what I want to achieve. Okay? That being said, you guys, really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Are there any questions, any thoughts you guys have?
Might sound silly, but it's a serious question.
Yeah.
This morning as we were coming here, I was telling my wife, I wonder how much longer I'm going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Where does that fit?
Oh, as far as the
left side.
left side? Great. That's a great question. As long as you want it to, really. So that's definitely something you want to talk to your coaches about daily, if necessary. When we're trying to hit a stimulus, that's the goal. So if things are difficult for you, if things get difficult for us because we had an injury, we've had a sickness, whatever, things get difficult and we have to change things up. The goal is to hit a stimulus, though. So as long as we can come in here, get our heart rate up, if the stimulus is to hit this energy system, there's always a way we can hit the energy system during the workout. If we need to adjust everything in the workout, we can do that. And it's still going to be the same for you as it is for someone else. You'll be working just as hard for you as Rich Froning is working for him.
That's a really good question. That's why my class, I'm always asking, especially with new people, like, how are you feeling? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? Because a lot of times, some people, I mean, I know I was when I first started, I'm like, I'm not going to tell them that this actually really hurts because this is just how it's supposed to be, I think.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, like, is this hurting? Is this hurting? Like, okay, let's talk about what hurt, is good and what hurt is bad. And then from there, like, let's figure out what we're going to be doing. And like you said, we can change the whole workout if we need to for you to be able to get one. And the whole point of doing CrossFit is so that you can be active for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's functional fitness. And so if we're doing something too much or pushing too hard or something hurts a certain movement, then you need to let us know so that we can change things up so you can continue doing it.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep here.
Yeah. Yeah, and for anybody that ever has an injury or they're concerned about a certain movement in the workout that might be uncomfortable for them or whatever, don't be afraid to ask the coaches to scale it, to change things up for you, because that's what they're here for. They want to make sure, like Michelle said, that you're here getting a good stimulus, getting a good workout, so that outside of the gym, you're feeling healthy, you're feeling energetic and happy. That's their goal. That's why they do what they do. They enjoy that. So never feel ashamed or embarrassed to ask those questions. Sarah, my wife, she's pregnant. She's been changing the workouts a lot. Okay, but she still comes because and she's still getting a similar stimulus as everybody else. But she changes it almost every single day because she has to, and it's totally okay. She's working out for 2 of them. Yeah.
What matters is you're moving and you're trying hard.
Yep.
You just gotta get moving and try hard.
Yep. But that's a great question, though. It really is. And any other thoughts or questions?
When we say scale, what we don't mean is making the workout easier. What we mean is making the workout appropriate. Okay, so if I'm scaling the workout, it's not because I want to do an easier workout. It's because doing what's on the board isn't appropriate for me. So I had this conversation when I was working at another gym. We had a couple, the owner's parents, and they were getting close to 70, but they were working out. They came and they worked out with us in the mornings, and I've got to do all this scaled stuff. Well, that doesn't mean we're making it easier. It just means we're making it more appropriate for you. I want everyone to work at this 6 out of 10 exertion scale, and if you try to do the same thing as Riker, he'll be at that 6 out of 10, but you'll be at a 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right. So let's bring it down, or bring it to center, right? Bring it to where it needs to be for you.
Right.
So just take the stimulus and move your marker to that appropriate
Right.
spot.
Just you guys at home, Josh was just saying, scaling doesn't mean making it easier. It means making it appropriate. So appropriate for you is different than appropriate for Rich Froning, Matt Frazier.
And kind of piggyback off that, a couple of years ago, I was kind of thinking about scaling, and we always use, or a lot of people use scaling as just that we're making it easy or whatever. And kind of get a realization that, no, really, if you're RXing, you should be RXing. That is actually the easier way. That's the easier path. And you can take any movement, whether it's pull-ups, any RX movement, pull-ups, deadlifts, cleans, whatever it is. Is it easier to do the RX rate, 1 rep every 30 seconds because it's outside of the appropriate stimulus? Or is it easier to, grab weight that's appropriate and rep that out as fast as you can? Every single time, moving faster and keeping the intensity is 100% the harder way to go.
Yeah.
So that can be a struggle to realize that, but the same thing with pull-ups. If you're not going to pull-ups, but you can do singles once every 10 seconds. Doing 1 pull-up every 10 seconds RX is exponentially easier than hopping on some rings and doing like 20 unbroken ring rows.
Oh yeah.
That sucks. Like, I tell people all the time, like, ring rows, you might think you're stupid doing ring rows. Like, no, like, they are hard, and you can make it as hard as you want. So I would kind of challenge people, like, if you feel like oh, RX is just, or scaling being too easy, like, look at the other side of that. Are you really just trying to stay comfortable by RXing because you know you have an excuse not to fast?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And also it's like on top of that, it's you look at workouts. We get workouts in here, and the stimulus is 10 to 13 minutes. Well, what happens if someone goes RX and they do it in 5, and then you do it in 12 minutes? Really, who worked harder? The RX guy who did it in 5 minutes, or the guy who is working on progressing and did it in the 12 minutes? Well, it might have been a little too easy for the RX guy, so there might have been ways for him to make it harder, so he still hit that stimulus area. That's we always want to be pushing. So in reality, yeah, RX is not the end all be all. Thank you, Dave.
Everything is scale, right? The RX movements are a scale version of a games workout,
Yeah.
So we just like don't do it right where we think that we're done because we have to put the scale on the RX.
Yeah.
I just want to say thanks to you guys for saying that, because I can tell you as relatively new, I feel like I've made a lot of progress in the last couple months, but I do. Sometimes I feel like I'm not working as hard as Sam, because Sam's over there doing pull-ups, and I'm looking in the mirror, my face is there. I'm working as hard as I can.
Yeah.
But I do say, good job. I'm like, I wasn't able to, and so I appreciate the comments, because it helps to realize that I am doing, I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to make the workout easy.
Nope.
I'm trying to make it doable was the word for me.
Because you're working harder than me, because I'm taking 2-minute rest. You're working the whole damn time. You're way cooler than me.
Thank you. I think that helps, especially for a lot of new people who are afraid to ask the questions sometimes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was gonna say it goes the other way around too. Like the other day, I was looking at 5'3", Dave's coaching me, and I was what was it 2-minute? It was the wall balls. I don't know. Anyways, so the stimulus was like finishing in like 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something. I don't know if y'all know about it. Anyways, so I was finishing way before, and I'm thinking, man, I'm just doing really good, But I'm not hitting. I'm doing better than the stimulus, as what I would think. But then afterwards, Dave's like, hey, look, you probably could have gone a little bit harder. I'm like, I can't do any of the movements. Like, I can't do a 20-pound wall ball. Like, I can't do that many. It was a deficit push-ups. Like, I can't do that. So I just scaled. Like, I scaled all of it. And he's like, yeah, but look at your scores. Like, you're not in the intended stimulus. So there's somewhere in there you could have pushed a little bit harder. And I'm like, I didn't think about that. Like, me in my head, I'm thinking, like, I just did really good. But technically, I should have tried to do them at least for like a minute and then move on from there if I needed to. So something also to work on. Karen and Catherine are great examples, because we've been doing a lot of wall balls, and we've been doing a lot of wall ball thrusters. They're at that point now where I tell them, like, hey, the next couple times we're going to start moving to the wall. We're going to start, pushing. Yeah, we're going to start throwing these, because you guys are getting really good at these wall ball thrusters. I'm liking it. So just a little bit there.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm killing it.
Man, he's still working. Yeah. So.
Good. Any other questions or thoughts, you guys? Okay.
When are you moving back? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for letting me be here. Really appreciate the opportunity to be back up here in Idaho and talk to you guys a little bit about this. Love you guys. Appreciate it so much. Dave is going to do something cool now.
Thanks for coming, Richard.
Oh, wait, by the way, little shout out. If you're looking for other ways to increase energy system, stuff, there's always supplements from Redcon One. Available now at CrossFit Empyrean's front desk. Take a peek at those. All right.
DJ Khaled!